Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2016 MRDA Championships. My name is Champ Unkind.
I'm Captain Motorboater.
And we are here to bring you the number 4-5 matchup of Bridgetown versus New York. Bridgetown Menace versus New York Shock Exchange. This is going to be a good one.
We've already had a great first time, a couple of games, some outstanding performances, and we're expecting the same thing here with Bridgetown and the New York Shock Exchange. Bridgetown coming in on a great 2016 season, only one defeat so far in 2016 at the hands of the Texas Outlaws. Last time these two teams got together, Bridgetown able to pick up the win against the Shock Exchange in a very close set.
Yeah, it was a great win. It was a big win for them, especially as they traveled across the country to do it and play several teams. They showed that they belong where they are and they belong at that number 4 seed. New York, though, this is a team that has won the championship before back in 2011. This is a team that believes they are better than the 5 seed. They're here to prove that.
And when you got something to prove, the performance level just elevates. Bridgetown, though, been seeing their sisters from across the street doing pretty well in their tournaments, and I think that Bridgetown wants to make a name for themselves here in MRDA, and this is the first step against the New York Shock Exchange.
Absolutely, and that's another, it's a little fun rivalry in roller derby between Portland and New York. It's not just on the women's side, it's on the men's side as well now. We can see it. So, it's one of those fun rivalries. And, unfortunately, they can't meet again in the championship game, but they get to play in the first round as the closest seeds, 4 and 5. This is going to be a fun game.
It's like you said, New York Shock Exchange are coming into here being champions in this tournament before. Not real happy about being a 5 seed, but they have to look at their own performance this year. They've kind of earned that spot. Now, if they want to get any higher here and contend for the championship, they're going to have to do something here today.
Yeah, and speaking of that, you can talk about the firepower that New York Shock Exchange has on the line. If you look at all the members of USA, Puerto Rico, France, they have so many players on these World Cup teams. They have that star power. Bridgetown, they're still a very, very good team. They hit hard, they play fast. They do exactly what you want out of an MRDA championship team. And coming in number 4 seed, that was not easy for him. You can see Cosmo just pushing as far as he could go. Unfortunately, spreading the pack out a little too thin. So Power Jam comes to a close as Munster gets back in bounds and the ride-up penalty box is empty. Munster going down, taking some of the pack with him. Jonathan R. forced to recycle himself.
I don't care. They're on the inside, slowing down Munster. He's trying to push against that 3-wall from the Shock Exchange. Jonathan R. bounced into the inside of the pack, and he's going to have to recycle.
Yeah, now he's juking to the inside. Able to stay in bounds by the tip of a toe stop. Very close there. Able to pick up a 5-point grand slam. New York now on top 10-0 with that jam clock under 5.
Munster's looking for some offensive help. He's having a tough time dealing with Shock Exchange blockers. Outstanding defensive work there by New York.
Yeah, but you can see at the end there, Portland, Bridgetown, very strong blocking to stop Jonathan R. from picking up the last of those 5 points. 12-0 after the first jam.
At that whistle, Jonathan R. takes a huge hit. He's still on the ground receiving some medical attention.
Yeah, they're going to check him out and see what happens. So we'll take a second to talk about Green Mountain Roller Sports. If you're skating on, quality is our technology. Sorry, reading is hard.
Hey, you know what? It's not my greatest skill. I do a lot of talking, not a lot of reading.
Yeah, what's good? What's good for reading?
Nobody invites me to read children's books.
I read Game of Thrones.
Oh.
That's it.
We've had a really entertaining first half of today, Champ. In that last game, really had Texas and Puget Sound going head-to-head, carrying a lot of intensity. This game's already starting off with intensity, but what you have seen so far is that New York is going to play some defense.
But this could be a big loss for New York if Jonathan R. cannot return to the track, not just for this bout, but for all of them. I mean, he is a member of Team USA. He is one of the best jammers in MRDA. He's one of the highest jumpers you'll ever see in roller derby. One of the highest jumpers you could see on roller skates. So, this is something they gotta be ready for it and prepared for.
And in all sports, and especially a sport like roller derby, you have a plan, you have a game plan going in.
And they have everything that you're going to need for your protection. go to www.prodesign.com and check it out. All right, and yeehaw for Texas. As many of you out there in the roller derby fan world know, putting on a tournament like this takes an amazing amount of effort from the volunteer people, not only that organize and produce the event, but the medical staff as well. We have a great group of medical personnel on site to take care of these amazing athletes, as it is a full contact sport that can result in things like we're seeing in this situation. And these people are top notch. This isn't just a couple of people that might have taken a,
it's not a do we have a doctor in the house.
Right.
No, these people are here for a reason. They know what they're here for. And it is full contact. We hate to see when an injury happens, but that's part of the game. It's something every player knows about going into it, that it might happen. I've been doing this a few years. You've been doing this a few years. We've seen our fair share of small injuries and large injuries, but that's what the medics are here for every time. So we are prepared, and the teams are prepared to make sure everybody is playing safe and playing well.
And we talked about the road to get here. In Bridgetown, already with a victory over the Shock Exchange this year. Not a very large margin in points. 152 to 107 was a result in that contest. But for the most part, Bridgetown has really been able to do a good job. Like I said, the only loss for them was against the Gatekeepers and Texas. And those points are very similar. About 40 points in each one of those losses for Bridgetown, both at the Big O tournament, where Texas did not play St. Louis, which was quite interesting leading up to this top 10 championship.
I remember last year at Brouhaha when Texas played St. Louis. That was a great game. And if we get that rematch or any kind of matchup, I think we're gonna have a lot of great matchups. And with tournaments, as we go forward, the matchups get closer and closer, better and better. We see that just about everywhere across the board in roller derby. And it's good to see Jonathan R. getting up with a little bit of help. But, looks like he will be a Mercury. Remember, New York in white, Bridgetown in purple.
The Rydell penalty box is empty. We are 5-on-5 into jam number 2.
Both trying to hit that outside of the pack. And it's Kembo Slice able to stay in bounds and pick up lead. Jammer New York, 2 for 2 now on lead. A lot of this is going to fall on Kembo now if Jonathan R. cannot return.
Great dexterity on that tightrope walk around stretch 1.
Absolutely.
Good job by Kembo. There goes Shreddy Mercury, able to get his initial pass completed.
Yeah, that was not easy. New York did a very good job there into turn 2. And, unable to jump the apex he wanted to, but just could not get the distance, forced to call it off. Does pick up 2 points before calling it off. So New York will go up 14-0 with 27 minutes remaining.
I think that drop to the knee might have saved Kembo from a track cut penalty, because I think if he would have cleared there, it looked like a toe may have tapped in the center of the track.
Yeah.
That would have been a track cut for sure. So a little fortunate that he didn't stick the landing and I was able to call off that jam.
Very good track awareness by Kembo Slice. So now on that jam line,
Don Juan jamming.
We have Carnage Asada for New York. And Don Juan for Bridgetown.
Don Juan against a 2-wall coming around turn 1 and 2. Press chest to chest against I Don't Care Bear, but blocking with the head is the call. Don Juan's going to go to the box. It'll be power jam time now for the New York Shock Exchange. See if Carnage Asada can put in some work.
Yeah, this is an opportunity here for New York to gain a little bit more on that lead. He's going to the inside of the track, bouncing around, hits his own blocker. That's I Don't Care Bear, but he is through. He will be lead jammer. Took some time off the clock, though. They're good defense by Bridgetown. So let's see what Carnage Asada can do here as he comes back into the pack. Very spread out here for New York. Now you see them reforming, opening up these holes. Only 2 to beat in front of them. 1 hanging back. Going to the inside, unable to stay in bounds. Looked like he kind of had a malfunction there, equipment malfunction.
Got his feet back under him and press it up against a 2-wall coming around turn 4 at the jam line. Carnage Asada looking to get the points on the board for the Shock Exchange, knocked off of the track. Here comes a recycle. Don Juan not really faring much better against that defensive front for the Shock Exchange.
Well, now he's getting through, but he ran into his own blocker. That doesn't help. So Don Juan against 3 in front of him in white, and they're just all around him as we are now under 30 seconds remaining in the jam. Carnage Asada getting pushed in. Remember, Don Juan still has not completed that initial pass.
Right.
So there goes Carnage Asada. That's a scoring pass, and he will pick up 5 points in a grand slam. Not the first grand slam, but brings it up to 19-0 with the jam winding down. Now he's definitely going to get a few more points at least. Yes, does look like he passed the rest of the pack. Calls it off. Although he had like 1 second left.
Another nice job there by the Shock Exchange, really eliminating the offensive capabilities of Bridgetown. Bridgetown's going to have to do a little bit better job of helping out their jammer if they're going to try to get any points registered against the Shock Exchange, at least the way it looks so far.
I am Havoc. He is on the jam line for New York. He's going up against Munster of Bridgetown. And, it's also, we got to talk about it. If Jonathan R. is out, it's going to fall just as much on their defense as it is on those other jammers, because the defense has got to be able to hold them. And so far, so good. We are only 6 minutes into the bout.
And you got to remember, too, that the Shock Exchange have got a lot of multi-tool players, guys like Carl LeFou that are out there right now that are putting on the helmet cover to block. They're also very capable of stepping into the jamming role.
Very versatile. Very, very versatile. And you see this defense still working on Munster right now. I am having problems getting through the pack too, but you can see that Bridgetown's defense, known for these big hits. New York doing a really good job of playing defense as well. Of course, they're known for that too.
Nice position of blocking there by defensive destroyer that forced Havoc towards that back of the pivot line. And now it looks like we've got a penalty to the jammer. Munster's going to go to the penalty box. A track cut is the call, so a power jam scenario for New York Shock Exchange.
Yeah, in the 4th jam, this is already the 3rd power jam against Bridgetown. But I Am Havoc still has not completed that initial pass. This does give the opportunity for his blockers. Yep, there we go. Just as I was saying, to open up that hole for him. Just needed a little bit of room on the inside, and he was able to get lead. Now back inside that pack, waiting for his blocker to open up that hole. That would be number 20 that tried on that, Aid Drinkin on that initial hit. I Am Havoc able to spin around, stay in bounds. Oh, one more hit. Hello.
Out of nowhere came Jensen.
And definitely out of bounds as well, as another 5-point grand slam goes to New York with a pivot heading to the penalty box. Munster is back out there. Power jam comes to a close. I Am Havoc to the inside, able to squeak through, unable to pick up any points though. That looked close.
I'll tell you what, I Am Havoc, we're at the whistle, was pretty happy those whistles were blowing when he just got bumped there. His skate definitely went off of the track. He might have got a track cut penalty if it weren't for the end of the jam being called, so a little fortunate there for the Shock Exchange.
Yeah, with Shreddy Mercury now on that jam line. He's going up against Kenbo Slice. There we go, 2 in the right L penalty box for Bridgetown. So an advantage again for New York. If Bridgetown wants to come back, I mean, they're only down 28. We know that's not a huge separation, but they got to watch those penalties. That's really what the difference has been so far.
I think that's going to be the story for a lot of teams in this competition. If you keep your jammer out of the box, you're going to be able to do a lot better putting points on the board. And right now, Bridgetown not able to keep their jammer out of the box, so the scoreboard reflects that with a 0.
Yeah, no folks who did not hit rewind, they all went the other way. But finally, Bridgetown does have a lead jammer with Shreddy Mercury shredding through the pack to pick up lead after going all the way back before turn 3. Shreddy inside the pack, taps his hips, calls it off. Let's see, Kenbo not able to get any points. 2 points for Bridgetown, so they now are on the board. For New York, we have number 82, Carnage Asada on the jam line, going up against Don Juan of Bridgetown.
Second jam for Carnage Asada. He's already put 9 points up on the board in 2 jams.
Yes.
Don Juan obviously looking to register his first points of the contest for Bridgetown.
Both of them shooting through the pack, trying to find that hole. It looked like Don Juan almost had a hole there, but good job by New York. Oh, there he goes, sliding to the inside, but no, picking up a track cut. So another power jam for New York. And let's see what Carnage Asada and the New York Shock Exchange can do here, going up against 2 men in front. Now 3, making it a little tougher. Looked like he may have taken a little hit to the face there. Getting some offensive help, which is really what you need on these power jams.
Hole's getting opened up on the inside. There goes Carnage Asada, able to get through.
That is the initial pass. Probably, that took a good chunk of time off the clock. So now Carnage coming back into the pack. Got 4 in front of him. Going to the inside, able to stay in bounds. Yes, he did. That's a 5-point Grand Slam, New York.
Outstanding offensive block by Jeffrey, number 42, just opened up the inside. Carnage able to get through and put those points on the board for New York.
You know, it's so tough with some of these skaters. You really have to completely seal off every part of the track, because if you even leave an inch or 2 on the inside, they're going to find it. That time he went up the middle, picks up 4 points for New York.
Very similar block that time offensively. This time, number 20, Abe Drinkin, able to open up the space for Carnage to get through and get the points on the board. So from the knees that time, getting 1 more point, a total of 10 on the board for the Shock Exchange. A great jam by Carnage Asada. That's 19 now so far in 3 jams for Carnage.
Yeah, I mean, they've done such a great job right now opening up those holes and being able to find those tiny little cracks in the defense to get lead. And the other thing for New York is they're playing clean right now. They have yet to have a power jam against them. And you can see the pack moving up to the pivot line. Pivot line?
What's that?
Well, I don't know. It's not 2010 anymore.
What it is 38-2, ladies and gentlemen. You can see that on your screen. 18:25 to go in the period number 1.
Both jammers still inside that pack as they head into turn 2. Nice block there by Bridgetown. And freak style.
Look at the work by I Don't Care Bear.
Yeah.
A one-man defensive machine on this track.
And maybe one of the greatest names in roller derby, too. Stankus jamming for New York, having some problems. No jammer has completed that initial pass. They're just
Both jammers are going to have to recycle back around turn 4.
Very good defense, really, for the entire 15 minutes so far of this bout by both teams. 38-12, now heading into that second quarter of the bout. I Am Havoc. He is through. That's the initial pass. Didn't keep the star on, but if you're not lead, if the other jammer already has lead,
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It only matters if you're trying to pick up points.
What does matter is that it looks like Bridgetown's able to keep their jammer out of the penalty box, and they're able to start chipping away at that lead, 38-16, as we hit the 14:30 mark in period number 1.
Yeah, 9 points there by Bridgetown. So a timeout is going to be taken here.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you about our good friends from Left Turn Clothing. Left Turn Clothing is a high-quality athletic apparel for men and women. That's where fashion meets function at Left Turn Clothing. And I bet you can find yourself some Left Turn Clothing over at Resurrection Skates. Resurrection Skates is a full-service skate shop located in Dallas, Texas. Custom setups, discount used skates, and all the gear you're going to need to get rolling, whether it's for derby, outdoor, session, speed, or ramps. Visit resurrectionskates.com.
And I don't know about you folks at home, but if you can't hear the music, Lady Scratch is just absolutely doing great this weekend.
Lady Scratch.
Yes.
With her St. Louis Gatekeepers hat on backwards. She's representing some of her pals from the St. Louis area while she delivers some awesome tunes for the folks that are here in attendance in Dallas, Texas.
All right, so Shreddy Mercury did get in the pack. No points picked up by Kembo Slice. 2 points picked up by Shreddy Mercury.
Quick jam there. 2 points up on the board for Bridgetown. 20-point lead now for the Shock Exchange. Number 82 for the New York Stock Exchange, Carnage Asada, out on the jam line for his third time. Taking on Don Juan from the Bridgetown Menace.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one here. Again, just Bridgetown cutting into that lead just a little bit, 2 points, 3 points, 4 points. But hey, if you can hold New York scoreless, it works.
Don Juan, track cut penalty last time he was out on the track, so obviously he's going to have to tighten up what he's trying to get done.
And you can see Carnage Asada having to recycle himself all the way back behind turn 4. Now back in the pack, and a low block for Don Juan is going to send him back to the Rydell penalty box. So another power jam here for Carnage Asada, and let's see if he can take advantage of it, Captain. He does. He gets lead.
And that was an unfortunate low block there for Don Juan. He made a quick right turn trying to get track position and just caught a skate of a player that was recycling back. And unfortunate for Bridgetown. That puts New York Stock Exchange in the position of power jam, and they're ready to take advantage. Carnage Asada already through for 5.
And that's what we've been seeing here. You know, when Bridgetown plays clean and Bridgetown plays, keeps their jammer out of the penalty box, they've been able to gain momentum. That's where the momentum gets shifted back to New York, and another 5-point grand slam for Carnage Asada right there.
You know, not only have New York been able to play a really nice defensive game, but they're playing a very patient game. They're not rushing to get to position. They're not in a hurry to try to make things happen. They're letting it work for them, and it's happening.
Exactly. Now with only one to beat in front of him, Carnage Asada gets pushed to the inside. That's number 56 of Bridgetown, Mr. M. Jensen. As now that that Rydell penalty box is full for Bridgetown. So it will be a power start here for New York.
Went out until we have a timeout by the Bridgetown Menace. Recapping 53-18, 11 minutes, 48 seconds to go, period number 1. Jam number 11 on tap. Well, first we got a timeout.
And we'd like to, of course, give a shout out to our proud sponsor and the sponsor of our penalty box, Rydell Skates, proud sponsor of the 2016 MRDA Championships. Thank you for all your support.
Get a lot of really fun sponsor reads here, Champ, and one of my favorites that we've been sent is from our good friends over at Green Monster Roller Sports, where they say, if you're skating on crap, we didn't make it.
Yeah, that was the one I was kind of a little iffy on.
Well,
it was the handwriting, I swear.
Yeah, it's a little scribbly, but Antic Skate Boots, I don't know if you've heard of them before, but they say they make the original high-top derby boots, and, you know, I'm going to have to believe Quadzilla when he says that.
Yeah, you can now hear the crowd cheering for Lady Scratch and how great of a job she's done at this tournament so far. It's like I think the music and she plays it. It's like if you could have an iPod shuffle in your brain.
That sounds like some future I don't want to live in, Champ.
Yeah, that is kind of scary. Let's just never say that happened.
Never, ever say that happened.
No. So we're going to have a power start here. And that is Stankus on the jam line for New York. Two, it looks like, yes, 3 in the Rydell penalty box. Looks like maybe those, the NSOs are confirming how much time is left. And we have so many great vendors here. I mean, and fans, don't forget, you can use that hashtag at home too. Lone Star Showdown 2016. You know, take a picture of yourself in front of your computer or TV or however you're watching this at home and show that you're one of the cool kids, that you love this just as much as we do.
I've always wanted to be one of the cool kids, Champ. I never got that opportunity, so.
Well, here's your opportunity. Take a picture. We're kind of busy right now, but maybe later. Take a picture. Selfies are fun. Use that hashtag, Lone Star Showdown 2016. Post it and see everybody being jealous that you're watching it. But hey, they can watch it too because it's free. The best things in life are free. Like this.
Looks like everybody's in position. They did the old jammer switcheroo on us now. Kembo Slice on the jam line for the New York Stock Exchange.
I believe Stankus magically morphed into Kembo Slice. Just don't blink, it happens.
Only 2 blockers on the track for Bridgetown on this power jam. Don Juan now out of the box and back on the track. He's engaged with the pack. There's a four-wall of Shock Exchange players in front of him.
Oh, Kenbo looked like he had that little hole to the inside that he's so good at getting, but just could not stay balanced and went to the inside. And Don Juan coming out of the penalty box with momentum and picking up lead. Kenbo Slice completing the initial pass about a quarter of a track length behind him.
Well, Don Juan's got to work quick if he wants to get points on the board and get that call off. Shutting out New York, but he didn't get enough past the group of skaters he was trying to pass. 0-0 is the score on that jam.
Yeah, they got right in front of Slice coming, had to call it off. Smart play, but he really could have used a point or two there.
Now I Am Havoc towing the jam line for the New York Shock Exchange. Taking on, looks like number...
That would be Munster.
Yep, Munster.
My least favorite type of cheese, but my favorite type of monster family.
Yeah, fair enough. It's good to have a positive and a negative come out of most situations.
That's how things happen.
I don't really have a least favorite type of cheese.
I mean, I still love cheese, but it's just the least favorite.
That banter was full of cheese. I want to say that to all you Derby fans. While I Am Havoc works his way around the track with the lead jam for the New York Shock Exchange.
Munster, hot on his tail, coming to the pack. I Am Havoc sees him coming and calls it off as he gets pushed out. Not able to get any points. No, they're discussing how many points I Am Havoc got, see if he did get any. Remember, it is where the hips are positioned.
Absolutely.
For those of you new to Derby at home, 1 point, a whopping 1 for I Am Havoc.
We're inside of 10 minutes now, champ.
Yeah, less than 10 minutes in the first half. Shreddy Mercury and Carnage Asada, this New York defense playing very differently than they played in their first match of this season. Just so strong. Of course, it's not that big of a score, but both teams' defenses have just been so strong in this bout. And it is Shreddy Mercury who gets through first for lead, coming before turn 1.
You know, you got to wonder a little bit, champ, if the way the New York Shock Exchange is playing right now has to do with the loss of Jonathan R.
I believe it is.
I think every man to himself looked in and said, I've really got to make sure that my defense is ratcheted up because we may not be able to put as many points on the board as we're used to.
Exactly. When you have Jonathan R. who can literally just defy gravity and move across the track with like one of those don't blink moments, you have to make up for it. And what they're doing to make up for it is really locking that defense down and forcing those penalties on Bridgetown's jammers. But right now we can see they're just totally locking up Freddie Mercury, who is the lead jammer. But good defense here is what the difference is. Like, yeah, you might let them through to get lead, but that's where they start really kicking in on the defense by just shutting them down on that next pass. They make it no easier on the scoring pass than on the initial, maybe even tougher. So Shreddy Mercury does get 5 points on this jam. Not able to stay in bounds. Great hit there by New York.
And with the recycle going all the way back to the apex of 1 and 2, Shreddy Mercury is going to take his time.
We did have a star pass to Abe Drinkin at the front of the pack, who is just spreading out that pack. Abe will draw through and be able to complete the initial pass. There's a string bean pack right there.
Yep, Jensen picks up the out-of-play block. He was just a little bit too spread out.
Abe unable to pick up a point, but 5 more points.
10 total on the jam for Shreddy Mercury.
Yeah,
54 to 28. We're sitting at right around 7.5 minutes, 7:40.
5, 4.
What do you say? All the numbers? Weird.
We're just going to keep counting. Because we can. That's one thing we know we can do.
Yeah, counting is cool. I'm all about counting. It's the reading part I don't understand.
Yeah, but eventually we get confused no matter what. So it's Stankus against Freakstyle. Stankus hitting that front of the pack, trying to push that Bridgetown defense. Now getting some help from Jeffrey. Jeffrey kind of standing in front there, seeing what's going on. Malcolm Sex in the back of the pack, the pivot, trying to direct traffic of New York.
Stankus got knocked off, and he's going to have to recycle as well as Freakstyle.
Yeah,
So we're doing a lot of backwards skating.
Yeah, great hit there by Wilverina. New York sending him all the way back to turn 1. And did he? No, he did not. He was not able to make a clean clean inbound, and does have to recycle. But there he goes, almost unblocked on that re-entry to the outside, picking up lead Stankus having problems, just not able to hit that inside or the outside. Good defense here by Bridgetown.
Couple of penalties doled out to each side, so micro pack situation for both as we make our way around the track in Jam 14.
Yeah, 2 in the Rydell penalty box. I'm sorry, now, yes, 2 in the Rydell penalty box for New York. I saw Malcolm Seck standing and got confused. 1 in the Rydell penalty box for Bridgetown. Stankus fighting at the inside the pack, still has not completed the initial pass.
Nice move by Freakstyle, dipping the shoulder, getting the leverage around the outside to put 5 in the sky.
You know, sometimes when they hit you one way, you just got to hit back. Sometimes you can absorb it, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you got to fight back. That's what Stankus did right there. He fought back. Now back inside that pack, trying to hit it and split it. But look at how that pack is moving around and going in different positions, making it very difficult. But there he goes, picking up 5 points, another grand slam. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an 11-point game. Bridgetown really come back with the force over the last 2 minutes. Oh, look at that apex jump. Wow, Freakstyle. He lived up to his name. You got to be a freak to jump like that.
Getting that type of airborne over that spot at the very end of the jam, how he even had energy to get that elevated, it was amazing.
I think gravity was actually pushing him upward. That was great.
54-48 at 5:25 to go in period number 1, champ.
Lady Scratch is playing the perfect song for this too. Can't touch this because they could not touch that.
Each side going to have a blocker in the penalty box as we step on to jam number 15.
And we do have a timeout on the track.
6-point lead for Bridgetown. Or excuse me, 6-point deficit for Bridgetown.
Yeah, 5.5 remaining. I mean, this is exactly what New York did not want to see right here, is that momentum really swinging back to Bridgetown. This is so similar to that San Diego Magic City bout,
right,
where towards the end of the half, you know, Magic City, the momentum started really swinging in their favor, and all of a sudden it was a tied game at halftime. We're kind of seeing the same thing here in this game. But the difference is these two teams have met before. They know each other a little bit better.
And a lot of the difference between that is not necessarily momentum caused by one side. New York's not causing the momentum. It's Bridgetown saving the momentum by not being in the penalty box.
Exactly, excuse me. When you see Bridgetown's jammers in the penalty box, that's when all the momentum swings back to New York. That is what they have to do. They have to draw those penalties on those Bridgetown jammers. That is where they've been the most effective so far.
Carnage Asada with 34 points. Kenbo Slice on the jam line for New York. He's only got 2 in the contest. And Munster jumping out to that lead jammer spot for Bridgetown, continuing to put pressure on New York.
Yeah, we only have a 6-point difference here, so really 2 passes separate these two teams. Good defense here by New York, but now finding that hole, and Kembo unable to stand balance, was so close.
I Don't Care Bear had 4 guys in front of him. He was trying to hold off to allow Kenbo to get through the inside. Kenbo just not able to maintain.
1-point game. Munster back in the back. He passed 1. He may have passed 2. Now he's definitely past 2. I think. Counting is hard. Munster pushing that pack. One man to help, but just look at the solidifying of that New York defense. Munster forced to call it off. Is able to get the full 4 points. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time, we have Bridgetown on top. They have really come back here in the second half of the first half.
First half ticking down. There's only 4 minutes to go. And Bridgetown happy where they're at. And they're going to put out number 85 on the jam line, Shreddy Mercury. He's already got 14 points on the contest through 5 jams. He'll be taking on number 82, Carnage Asada, your points leader with 34 points so far in the contest.
Good spin move there by Shreddy Mercury to come back on the inbound. Carnage Asada doing a little bit of defensive jamming for a second, now going to go back to the offense, getting some help from Malcolm Sex. Carnage Asada just barely staying in bounds. Now slight jump. Oh, looks like we have a power jam.
Shreddy Mercury hand in the cookie jar. He's in the box cut track, so you're looking at a power jam scenario for the New York Stock Exchange with the leading scorer on the track, Carnage Asada.
If you want to flip that score back, this is exactly what the doctor ordered. This is exactly what you need to do. You need these power jams, and you need a jammer that can take advantage of it. Carnage Asada now coming back in the pack, dodging the outside, juking inside, unable to stay in bounds. Good footwork there. We can see Shreddy Mercury already standing in the penalty box. What can they? Oh, nice hit there by number 35 of the Shock Exchange. That's B. Schurz opening up that hole in a full 5, and we got another score change.
Shreddy Mercury's already back on the track. Engaged in the pack, got forced off on that back stretch while Carnage Asada tiptoes his way through for 4.
Absolutely great footwork. Looked like he almost went out there, but was able to just kind of right himself, stand up straight, get through, pick up those points. And New York back on top. Not so comfortable, only 6 points, but they're still on top. That's really what you got to hold on to towards the end of the bout. As we all know, the team with the most points usually wins. Usually.
That's what they've told me the rules say, so I'm going to go with it on that one, champ.
I agree. So now back on that jam line, we've got I Am Havoc going up against, that would be Freakstyle, who had some great moves on his last jam, but some good defense here in the back of the pack by New York. I Am Havoc going to have to recycle himself all the way back to the jam line. Same with Freakstyle, going to have to go all the way back to turn 2, and it is I Am Havoc causing havoc and picking up lead jammer. So now he's coming back into that pack, hitting that turn, going to the inside, 1 to beat, able to stay in bounds. That is a 5-point Grand Slam New York, opening up that lead just a little bit more.
Now coming up to turn 2 in a shoulder duck. Right around I Am Havoc, and then slips to the inside, actually delivers a hit to make his way through for 5.
Yeah, great moves there. It looked almost like he lost his, was about to lose footing, but no, it was I'm going to push you right back. So let's see if he can get a few more. Yes, he does. Wow, amazing footwork. I Am Havoc. Wow. He went just on 1 foot backwards, sees the other jammer, calls it off, and picks up more points. 14-point jam for I Am Havoc.
Just received word, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you watching at home, that Jonathan R. has left the facility for medical attention on his lower right leg. I think they're going to go for some x-rays and find out what the damage that was done to that. So I don't think he'll be returning today for any more competition if New York should advance.
Well, we all hope for the best for him, and we speak for everybody here when we say that. But with Munster and Kenbo Slice out there, Kenbo at the front of the pack there for New York, just taking on that purple wall. Good footwork by Munster, but unable to stay in bounds. Malcolm Sex kind of playing watchdog there in the back. Kenbo Slice completes the initial pass, but is not lead jammer.
Jam gets called off, and now you've got Munster signaling to his bench that an official review is on order, so we'll see if that goes ahead and gets called with 1 second left in the period.
So you will get a little bit of bonus derby because there is that 1 second left. Perfect timing to call that off and call for a timeout. Or more for call for timeout. Yeah, they're going to go over that, make sure it's accurate, and see everything and make sure everything good is going on. I'm just rambling at this point with that.
Well, while we got time, let's talk about some of our awesome sponsors like Juice Wheels. Juice Wheels are tested, innovative, and true. Juice Wheels will let you grip and slide just when you need it. Also, Kaya. Kaya is performance-driven, high-end, truly unique quad roller skates and plates. It's time. Check out Chaya.
This has been such a good bout here. You know, we kind of thought maybe it would be a tie game at half. Very well could be still. You know, if you got a power jam, Bridgetown gets 20 points.
This is Portland's official review.
That's what they need.
Portland is reviewing a potential cut call on the Shock Exchange jammer.
So the official review is underway. They will officially review it.
It's always interesting to me when they have a discussion about whether or not we're going to have a review, to announce a review, to have a discussion about the review.
Yes, I saw this. You saw that. That's how an announcer.
That's how, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys know rules. I know rules. Blah blah blah. No.
That was bad. That was good. Yay.
You've got these folks out here that have put an amazing effort into making sure they get all of these rules right, because everything is on the line here at the 2016 MRDA Championships.
Absolutely.
Every call has to be scrutinized, and we want to make sure that we do get those right, especially on an official review. Bridgetown is looking to get something changed off of what happened on that last jam. And Munster was very quick to go to his bench and ask for an official review. So obviously we might not be a 20-point differential with 1 second to go in period number 1.
Absolutely, and it's all on the line here, just like you said. 20-point difference going into halftime. This is a very low-scoring game.
It was confirmed that the Portland Jammer was able to return to the track both before one of the Shock Exchange jammers ran back and before the other blocker was able to run back as well. So therefore, no call will be made. Portland will not retain their review for the half.
So basically at the end of the jam there, they were looking for a penalty, Bridgetown against the Shock Exchange, and as the official let us know there at home that no call will stand, Bridgetown will lose their official review, but we've only got one more jam left in period number 1, and that jam's got Shreddy Mercury for Bridgetown, taking on Carnage Asada for the New York Shock Exchange. There goes Shreddy Mercury, lead jammer.
Yeah, and we've seen this before. They need New York really just has to get out of the pack, has to make the initial pass, and then they can start, slowing it down a little bit. But we see Shreddy Mercury going through. That's 5 points. This is what they need right now going into halftime, is that momentum swinging back. Like I said before, when Bridgetown plays clean, the momentum shifts back to them. Oh, wow, Shreddy Mercury, but with a track cut. Oh.
It was like a flying 360 toe tap on the inside. I thought he pulled it off. He wasn't able to stick it.
From up here, it did look like it, but the refs are way closer than we are. So if they say he was out, he was probably out.
So Carnage Asada now in position to extend the lead for the Shock Exchange. Carnage has already slipped the helmet cover off, so we'll see if he's going to do a little stash or if he's actually looking for a pass.
Well, at this point, you might as well, because you don't have lead jammer. It's going to go the full 2 minutes anyway, so bonus derby, that is really bonus derby. And you might as well just try to give it to somebody else if you're having problems with it. Give somebody else a try.
You got Abe drinking about a quarter of a track away from Carnage. He's looking to make a pass now, but now a great job by Bridgetown. They've braced themselves between those two skaters and are making it as hard as they can to get that pass done.
Yeah, the power jam came to a close, and New York still has not completed that initial pass. So here's an opportunity for Shreddy Mercury with about 15 seconds left on the jam clock to do some damage and maybe pick up a few more points going into halftime, cut into that lead just a little bit. Still not a very large lead with 5 seconds remaining. Let's see how many he was able to get past as he has to recycle himself, and that's the end of the first half. He doesn't look like he got any points on that last pass.
Yeah, 5 for Bridgetown, bring us to 77-62. What a heck of an entertaining first period, Kent.
Yeah, he did end up getting that last 5 points. 10-point foul. This is a great game. Number 4, number 5, New York coming in at 5, feeling maybe they deserve to be ranked higher, losing one of their prominent members in the first jam and still able to hold on to a 10-point lead here at half. Don't act like you're not impressed.
We know what each team has to do going into period number 2. Bridgetown's got to clean up their penalty issues at the jamming position, or they may not have any jammers to jam in the second period if they're going to continue to go to the box. New York Shock Exchange, everybody's got to lock back down on defense. We'll see how it unfolds in about 14 minutes.
Absolutely. Bridgetown, a lot of penalties against their jammers. Shock Exchange, no penalties against their jammers. And a 10-point difference, if Bridgetown can clean it up, we're going to see a very different second half.
All right, we'll see you folks in just a few minutes here at the 2016 MRDA Championships.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 4th game of MRDA Championships 2016, the Lone Star Showdown. We have New York Shock Exchange on top of Bridgetown Menace 77-67. So much happening in that first half, but we do want to make a quick reminder, and Captain Motorboat, what is that?
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know this or not, but we are going to be announcing the next location for Men's Roller Derby World Cup just before the third place game tomorrow, so make sure you stay tuned. Tomorrow, we're looking at a 3 o'clock start for that game, so at 3 o'clock, you're going to find out where the next Men's Roller Derby World Cup is going to be held. Huge announcement, pretty excited about it.
Historic moment. You get to find out where it's going to be taking place, which lucky city was selected out of so many applicants. What's going to be happening? It's a huge thing, especially if you want to go to it.
Champ, you and I got to work at the Men's Roller Derby World Cup this year in lovely Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I'm going to go back to Calgary, Alberta, Canada just because it's such an awesome place.
Yes.
And they hosted an outstanding Men's Roller Derby World Cup. The United States taking home the prize, but oh my goodness, England, oh my goodness, Canada, oh my goodness, France. You guys represented Australia, Team Japan. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch roller derby World Cup style, you really haven't seen how much fun you can really have in roller derby.
And I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I bet we're going to have even more teams there in 2018 as the sport continues to grow both on the men's and women's side, just growing all over the place. More countries, more representation, showing derby spreading throughout the world and the universe.
Well, that universe right now is in North Richland Hills at the NYTEC Center. We've got Bridgetown 10 points shy of equaling the New York Stock Exchange after period number 1 completed.
Yeah, and Jonathan R. getting injured on that first play, huge loss for New York. But they have held strong, stayed strong, playing very well together as a team. Their jammers look strong, but the big thing they're doing is they're playing clean. That is such a huge difference. It's only 10 points right now, and when you lose Jonathan R., it's very difficult to make up for that. But with all the penalties going against Bridgetown's jammers, none have gone against New York's. And if they can play clean like that, they have just as good of a shot to win this as anybody.
You've got Jansen with 5 penalties, Don Juan with 4 penalties from Bridgetown. Only one person in a little bit of penalty trouble, Malcolm Sex with 4. We're going to see in this second period if Bridgetown can clean up their act and get back into this competition, maybe even take the lead like they were able to do in the first period when they were playing a much cleaner game.
So now we're going to head back to the track. Shreddy Mercury going up against Kenbo Slice on the first jam of the second half. Remember, 10 points separate these two teams. This is a big one. This is the 4-5. We expected this to be close. We expected this to be hard fought. This is a rematch of a bout from back in August, played in Philadelphia against these two teams, playing against each other. And here we go, second half underway. Both jammers trying to get through, and it's Shreddy Mercury starting strong for Bridgetown. Getting through, Kenbo Slice unable to stay in bounds. Shreddy Mercury juking to the inside. One to beat. Wow, that's going sideways and picking up a 5-point grand slam to start off the second half.
Kenbo Slice getting pushed off the track, but it didn't matter anyway. He got nailed with a track cut penalty. So you've got 85 Shreddy Mercury on the power jam, and they've already tied it up with 10 points on the jam. Shreddy Mercury now looking to take the lead for Bridgetown.
This is exactly what New York did not want and couldn't afford to happen. Let's see how Bridgetown takes advantage of it and how New York responds. That's going to be a big tell for how things are going to go here in the second half. Shreddy Mercury now trying to hit that outside, unable to stay in bounds. Very close, almost out of there. Abe Drinkin just finally was able to get him out. Or I'm sorry, that was Wyatt who eventually did get him out. Who is Abe Drinkin? And that's 5 more points for Bridgetown and a lead change. Really held on as long as they could as the power jam comes to a close.
Now it's an opportunity for Kenbo to get his initial pass done since he's out of the box and the penalty is over. But before he's able to get around the track again, Shreddy Mercury calling off the jam with a yell. Serious 19-point jam by Bridgetown, giving them a 9-point lead as we go into jam number 2. And just like that, it's a whole new game, champ.
Not even 2 minutes into it, and the score is flipped again. 86-77. Let's see what New York does and how they respond with a timeout.
It's the officials this time, so
yes.
That gives us an opportunity to talk about, again, our fantastic sponsors here at the 2016 MRDA Championships. One of those sponsors, the sponsor of our penalty box, which has seen some action from both sides. That's Rydell Skates. Visit Rydell Skates booth while you're here, but if you're not here, we'll shout out to them and check out RydellSkates.com to experience their cutting-edge technology and intelligent design of the new Solaris.
Yeah, you know, our good friends at Rydell Skates, always supporting Derby. Gotta love them, and we appreciate their support. So now on that jam line, after we're gonna come back from the timeout, it's I Am Havoc, and he is going up against Munster. There's the whistle, back to play we go. Immediately getting shoved out is I Am Havoc. Munster trying to stay up the middle. 3 Shock Exchange members blocking him. Trying to find that hole, very difficult here.
Nice 360 by Munster, able to get that initial pass completed and picking up the lead jammer.
Yeah, he had to pull the pack apart on that one.
He's got that towel flapping in the air on his backside as he's using his speed to get through. Now bouncing chest to chest off of Carl LeFleur. Carl jumps up and says, all right, you can go through. I won't get the penalty.
That's another 5-point grand slam for Bridgetown, who's held New York scoreless here so far in the second half. Not even 3 minutes into it, so still very premature to say that. But Munster now on another scoring pass, back inside the pack. Oh!
I Am Havoc down hard. It looked like his face might have impacted the skating surface there. I hope he's all right. Yeah, he's got back to the bench. He doesn't look any worse for wear, but that could have been pretty bad.
Bridgetown does pick up another 10 on that jam, increasing their lead 96-77. New York has got to stop the bleeding. They've got to play it a little cleaner, and they got to start locking down that defense a little more. That power jam on the first half seemed to kind of maybe taking the wind out of them a little bit.
Well, Carnage Asada is definitely up to the task if you're talking about a momentum change for the Shock Exchange. Going up against Freakstyle for Bridgetown.
Freakstyle.
Kenbo slice, delivering a hit. No pass, no penalty. Oh, lead jammer is the call, though, so Freakstyle will hold that lead jammer position.
Carnage Asada trying to stay in bounds on the inside, but unable to, having to go back to turn 1. He still has not completed that initial pass yet. Freakstyle bouncing all over the place, pushing, fighting his way into the middle of that pack. But a nice hit by Kenbo Slice, playing some defense there, pushing him inside the track. Kenbo, of course, a Team USA member. Freakstyle going back to that outside, trying to work on that outside line and finding members of the New York Shock Exchange. Carnage Asada taking advantage of that all over the place and picking up his initial pass. No points by Carnage, but 4 more points added to that Bridgetown lead. So Bridgetown is the first to cross the century mark and has held New York scoreless almost 5 minutes here into the second half.
Looks like another jammer rotation change for the Shock Exchange. This time Sammy Dangerfield towing the jam line for the New York, taking on Don Juan from Bridgeport. Remember, Don Juan in a little bit of penalty trouble, so he's going to have to make sure he's a little bit cleaner on this jam.
Yeah, and Sammy Dangerfield, a veteran skater, played for Team Puerto Rico at the World Cup. He knows how to jam, done it for a long time, but Don Juan does get through first after deflecting that hit.
Did you see that shiver?
Yeah.
Delivered by Don Juan on
Wow.
Wolverine.
Look at that footwork there, just all over the place, very balanced, losing it there on that last hit, and just blurring into that onto all those blockers. I was losing words.
I'll tell you what, Don Juan took on that pack like a running back, finds a hole, got low. There his skates give out a little bit coming around turn number 2. But Don Juan's trying to get leverage and speed to get through a spread out pack by New York and gets caught up in a track cut. Another penalty for Don Juan on the jammer. That's number 5.
And power jam, we saw Sammy Dangerfield take off the star when going stealth mode there. Now back on his scoring pass. This is the opportunity that New York needs. This is how they got up in the first half. Sammy Dangerfield has got to take advantage of it. Sammy Dangerfield trying to call it off, but he doesn't have lead. Forgetting that the other jammer was not out there. Sammy Dangerfield now back in bounds. Star pass. Going to Abe Drinkin. Now going in the middle of that pack. Trying to stay in bounds. Very difficult. 1 to beat in front of him. Remember, this is points here for New York. Power Jam's coming to a close. Don Juan back in bounds.
Don Juan to the center of the track, staying away from the edges, but this gets shoved off, and he's going to have to recycle. Doesn't want to get another penalty on the jam.
Very careful here.
9 points on jam, 9 penalties on jammers.
And a track cut is going to send Abe Drink into the penalty box. So this is going to be a power start for Bridgetown. But let's see if New York got on the board for the second half. 2 points there at the end for Bridgetown. We'll let you know what the refs decide. Looks like they're going to clarify it and get their math.
A lot of conversation there. I'll tell you, Abe Drinkin had a lot of conversations headed to the penalty box with the referee that was giving the penalty. I want to see if that was a insubordination call to go along with the track cut. That conversation's happening. That signal has happened. That's 2 penalties on the play there for Abe Drinkin, the insubordination and the track cut penalty. So a full minute penalty now. Bridgetown going to take advantage with already having a 30-point lead.
And with the position that New York is in, that was really something they could not afford. Abe Drinkin, a veteran skater, kind of got to question what may have been going through his head there, arguing that in the middle of a jam.
You got to avoid the penalties that are avoidable, and that one is definitely avoidable. Abe Drinkin on that was getting plenty of leeway as I saw him skating around. It looked like he was able to state his dissatisfaction with the call, but he didn't stop after doing that. Kind of threw some hand gestures in there that are also unsatisfactory from the referee's opinion. So,
you know what? You're in the heat of the moment. You got the testosterone flowing. You do things you regret sometimes, but you got to be able to control it a little better sometimes on calls like that. So Shreddy Mercury will put on the start for Bridgetown. Now juking to the inside. He's got 1 to beat in front of him. And he will pick up lead jammer.
Forearm call there on number 35, B. Shirts.
Yeah, Shirts going to have to head back to that Rydell penalty box to join Malcolm Sex and Abe Drinkin. No pivot, no jammer, and down a blocker. And it's Shreddy Mercury who's through. Still no points here for New York in the second half as 5 more are picked up by Bridgetown.
Major pack advantage for Bridgetown. Shreddy Mercury going to skate on through for another 5 in the sky.
That's 10 points total so far on this jam for Shreddy. Playing clean, we've seen this now. 1 penalty only so far for Bridgetown's jammers against Don Juan. Bridgetown really taking advantage of it and flipping that score way more now. Shreddy Mercury on another scoring pass. The Rydell penalty box is empty for New York. 1 in there for Bridgetown. Now it's empty.
Shreddy Mercury really taking his time, waiting to get a little bit of help out of the box, but he's also trying to spread out New York.
I think he realizes the situation that, Abe Drinkin still has not made his initial pass. He's lead. He controls it. You can kill the clock, grab a couple more points. Meanwhile, just let the other jammer wear himself down.
Yeah. With 40-point lead for Bridgetown, killing clock isn't a terrible idea.
Especially in a situation like this where anything is possible. Yeah, there's a 40-point difference, but you and I have both seen 40-point comebacks with 20 minutes remaining. 4 more points picked up there by Shreddy Mercury, a 14-point jam adding to that Bridgetown lead. Again, Shock Exchange still held scoreless here in the second half, now almost 10 full minutes into it.
Just an update, Malcolm Sex and Abe Drinkin now with 5 penalties each, so they're in a little bit of penalty danger for the New York Shock Exchange as we roll in to jam number 6.
I Am Havoc going up against Munster on the jam line. Munster just going sideways, taking some of those Shock Exchange pack members out. Recycling himself, though, hitting that wall very hard, but a nice hit there by number 17 of Bridgetown, Elysium, who's really had a lot of good blocks today, to the outside, onto I Am Havoc.
Pushing up front is Munster, trying to get around turn 1, but he's going to get forced recycled all the way back to the jam line. going to have to rethink his position on how he's going to attack that 3-wall by New York.
Good defense here by both teams on this jam as we are about 40 seconds into it. No lead jammers yet. Munster again having to recycle himself. Al Gore would love this one.
You've got the imaginary glass ceiling, glass wall in front of both of these skaters trying to get through that. And once they pop turn 2, there goes Munster for a lead jam.
Yeah, he juked a little to the inside, faked out Sammy Dangerfield, and was able to complete the initial pass. Now he's back in the pack on a scoring pass. Trying to get some help there from one of his blockers, Ramrod. But very difficult here. New York Shock Exchange's pack just kind of flying all over the place. Good defense again. Sammy Dangerfield may have given it up on the last one, but there makes up for it by pushing him all the way back.
Nice block on the inside by Bridgetown. Munster's going to have to recycle those. He got knocked off by the defense put together by Shock Exchange. I Am Havoc's got the helmet cover in his hand. He's been doing a little star stashy and paying the price for it because he hasn't fooled anybody. They all know who the jammer still remains for New York Shock Exchange.
Yeah, and he had to recycle himself again there. Recycled cheese, not delicious. That is one cheese I don't think I'd like at all, is recycled cheese. You looked sick for it. You look a little sick after I said that.
I don't even know why I attempted to imagine recycled cheese. It's just not bad. It's not a good thing for anybody.
No. Please don't eat recycled cheese.
We'll go back to actually trying to call roller derby here at the 2016 MRDA Championships. 4 versus 5, Bridgetown taking on the New York Shock Exchange.
Kenbo Slice and Freakstyle out there jamming with the stars on. Kenbo Slice at the front of that pack. Just that wall preventing him from really being able to move more inbounds. He's known for being able to play on the out-of-bounds line, or the lines. And there he is able to go. Can New York get their first points of the second half as we are almost 13 minutes into the second half? Yes, he will, as he's already passed a few.
Nice move back inside, but a track cut penalty. Putting the Bridgetown Menace back on the power jam. All those points sent straight to the penalty box. Not what Kenbo needed to do in that situation.
You know, it's been a tale of two teams here so far for the New York Shock Exchange. First half, jammers played very clean. No penalties against their jammers in that first half. A lot of them going against Bridgetown, especially when New York lost Jonathan R. Now, flipping it to the second half, it's been the opposite. A lot of power jams going against New York, and Bridgetown taking advantage of it, now up by 52 points.
The real question is, where did Carnage Asada go? The guy put up 43 points in period 1. Here we are in the second half, and he is nothing, a goose egg. He hasn't been able to do anything like he did in the first half, and that's really what's hurting the Shock Exchange without Jonathan R.
Kenbo Slice coming back in. There is no lead jammer on this jam as Kenbo did get lead, and then on his scoring pass committed the penalty. Kenbo able to stay in bounds. There we go. That's 5 points for the New York Shock Exchange. They're first officially on the board of the second half, almost halfway through the second half. Nice spin around there by Kenbo Slice getting through. 4 more picked up by Freakstyle.
Freakstyle tried to call the jam off, realized he was not lead jammer, which he's been used to being so far in the second half.
Yeah, he did not have lead jammer at all during that jam, but hey, when you're used to something, you do something.
Nice job by Freakstyle and the Bridgetown Menace, 138-88 as we creep on past 15 minutes and 30 seconds into period 2. Yeah. Bridgetown's just really doing a great job of maintaining position and maintaining momentum.
Yeah, absolutely.
I asked earlier, where is Carnage Asada? Well, he is on the jam line for the New York Shock Exchange. Let's see if he can get back to his point-scoring ways for the first half.
And it looks like we're going to have an official timeout on the track. 50 points separate these two teams, 138-88.
One of our amazing sponsors here at the 2016 MRDA Championships is Pepper House Designs. Do your feet ever slide around in your skates? Go check out Pepper House Designs. She's a local supplier of all things derby, sponsor of TXMRD. Pepper House Designs can get you hooked up with skate nooses, armbands, custom patches, original official wristbands. Go check out Pepper House Designs.
Of course, fans, we thank you for joining us here at the 2016 MRDA Championships here in North Richland Hills, Texas. This is a beautiful venue. You just got to give it to the NYTEX Sports Complex. This place is awesome. Good temperature, too.
Good temperature and an outstanding crowd. This crowd has been on point and on fire since we walked in the building here to start action at 9 o'clock this morning Central Time. Here it is, 4:20 Central Time, and the crowd is having a good time. They just rolled in the ice-cold beer for sale, so I expect that the crowd will get a little bit more hyped as those beer sales start to fly.
It lets people be more confident in their cheering.
We are about 15 minutes away from the end of this game, but what we really want to know is, does New York have it in them to get this momentum switched? Is Carnage Asada going to jump back to his point-scoring race? Don Juan for Bridgetown Menace is on the jam line with 5 penalties. Can he stay out of the box? Let's find out.
And this is a big moment for New York. Just like you said, we've seen 50-point comebacks with 15 minutes remaining. If you've been around Derby, you've seen it too. But it's not going to be easy. Bridgetown is showing it's not going to be easy. They have to play cleaner, and this is a good way to start it off. Carnage Asada, you were wondering where he went. He is right there as the lead jammer for New York. If he can stay clean on this pass, he'll pick up some points. Don Juan about a quarter of a track length behind him. Carnage in, calling it off. Able to pick up 2 points, cutting into that lead just a little bit.
With 3-on-3 blockers, it was no opportunity for Carnage to try to press the situation. He just had to grab the couple points that he could get. But I can tell you that New York Stock Exchange needs more from him if they're going to get back into this contest.
Well, they also need more from their defense. They got to hold that jammer back a little bit longer. The difference between 2 points and 4 points can determine an entire game. Difference between 2 points, 6 points, 10 points. You keep going on in the math. That's the difference in the game.
Who is the highest scoring point getter so far in this contest, you asked, Champ Unkind? Shreddy Mercury has 57 points, and he jumps out for the Bridgetown Menace as the lead jammer.
I Am Havoc jamming for New York. Nice hit there by Bridgetown's pack, pushing him to the inside of the track. Going to have to recycle himself. You just see him trying to fight there, but that 3-man wall of Bridgetown, so strong. Bridge is closed.
And a low block penalty assessed to I Am Havoc. Unfortunate, just lost his balance and clipped the backside with Tommy Gunn, knocking him to the floor. That's going to earn him 30 seconds in the box and a power jam now for Shreddy Mercury and the Bridgetown Menace.
Yeah, this is not the right time to take a trip to the Rydell penalty box. But especially we got Shreddy Mercury. Oh, deflecting the hit from Carl LeFou.
With a little turn back of the head to remind Carl LeFou that he's going to have to come a little bit harder with that next time.
Yeah, he's like, dude, come on. Give me a little bit more of a challenge on that one.
And once again, understanding where we are in the contest and understanding that clock management is now playing part of this game, Shreddy Mercury's just taking his time.
Play patient, play clean. Very smart move here by Shreddy Mercury.
Doesn't need to get in the box.
Absolutely.
No initial pass yet by New York Stock Exchange. There's no need to press the situation. And just like that, plays right back into the hands of Bridgetown. I Am Havoc straight to the penalty box again for another power jam.
Yeah, I Am Havoc sitting in that Rydell penalty box. And with under 13 minutes remaining as we approach 12 minutes remaining, Shreddy Mercury playing smart, letting that jam clock wind down. Now he's going to call it off. Going to give the next jammer a few more seconds to get lead, and then going to try to build on that a little more. Remember, all they really got to do, the clock is on their side at this point.
And you remember, ladies and gentlemen, if we were in a normal roller derby situation, a standard sanctioned contest, there's no way that Shreddy Mercury would just stand there and let the clock run down because point differential matters.
Especially in rankings, yes.
Not here.
No.
Here, you need to win in advance.
Yes, it doesn't matter if you win by 1 point, 100 points, 500 points, 1 billion points. If you win, you win. And if you can kill that clock, you're going to win. Munster and I Am Havoc still in the Rydell penalty box. Munster taking advantage of it before turn 1, picking up lead.
I Am Havoc going to have to solve that penalty issue while Munster is now trying to put some points on the board for Bridgetown.
He's just really got to play clean, play slow, be patient. That's what his coaches should be telling him right now. I am Havoc getting through. That's his initial pass, though. Munster, in control of this jam, calls it off. So another 4 points for Bridgetown, making it a 58-point differential with 11 minutes remaining, 149 to 90.
You know, you said earlier, Champ, we've all seen a 50-point comeback with 15 minutes to go in the half. Well, now we're at a 59-point scenario with inside of 11 minutes in the half. And every time we keep checking back to the scoreboard, those opportunities for the New York Stock Exchange to get back into this game are fleeting.
New York Stock Exchange, 13 points in the second half, 77 points in the first half. That's where it is. Bridgetown, on the other hand, has scored a lot more than that. Bridgetown has scored about 70. I'm sorry. Math is hard.
Why would you try to math?
I need a calculator. They came into the second. They left the first half with 67 points, now at 149. You can see they've been taking advantage of this. And again, the difference is the power jams. Power jams now going against New York. And we see that Bridgetown, at full strength, is able to handle the situation and take advantage of it.
And you really saw the Stock Exchange lose control of this competition when Abe Drinkin got hit for the track cut and the insubordination, because momentum was already rolling quickly down the hill with the with Bridgetown's name on it, and it just barreled right through the New York Stock Exchange when they had to go that full minute power jam.
Honestly, it seems like they're like New York Stock Exchange's jammers are a little flustered out there. Like they're a little frustrated with what's going on, and it's not only maybe it's starting to show. And you can understand why. You can honestly understand why. You lose one of your best players on the first jam, maybe for the rest of the tournament, and you know you struggle. It's tough to recover from that. And they've really just kind of been showing their frustration, especially in the second half. They were very composed, though, in the first half. Very composed.
Speaking of Abe Drinkin and those penalty problems, he was eliminated from the competition with his 7th penalty. And just like that, Kenbo Slice picks up his 3rd penalty going to the box.
Well, Kenbo Slice, a member of USA Roller Derby, he does go to the penalty box, but still 3. He is not really in trouble yet. But luckily for New York, Freestyle also committing a penalty. He's going to go to the Rydell penalty box. So we're going to have a 1-2 switcheroo there out on the track.
That's Freestyle's first penalty of the contest.
Very clean play here by Freestyle. Good job, staying clean, playing well. And now we see Kenbo Slice going to try to take advantage of this here. Remember, he did not complete that initial pass yet. We don't have a lead jammer. We're not going to have a lead jammer because both jammers have served time in the Rydell penalty box. So now one blocker in the box for each. Freestyle completing that initial pass. Kenbo Slice, nice moves to complete his own.
Both skaters threw on their initial passes. Now we're not going to have a lead jammer since they both enjoyed some rest time in the box. That means we'll get that full 2 minutes of Derby.
Yeah, and under 9.5 minutes remaining here. Kenbo Slice able to get out, get in cleanly. This is very important for New York. But like you said, the amount of points don't matter. It's who has more at the end that matters.
Certainly.
4 points picked up by Kenbo on that last pass.
Freestyle hanging on the outside.
Oh.
Playing once again that mindset of let's not put ourselves in danger. Let's not get a penalty.
Yeah, and you can see, well, actually, look, he's holding part of his, looks like his elbow pad in his hand. So he really is just kind of playing it safe. That was the right move, right call on Freestyle. Good awareness there to know exactly how to handle that situation. And luckily, they're in a position to do that.
And he got great help from his bench. He was about to sprint towards the bench to try to get his equipment fixed. They threw up the stop sign and pointed to the jam clock that was about to expire and said, hold your horses, don't get a penalty.
Just hold off. Don't worry about it. We're up. You can afford to wait. Jam clock's winding down. We're good. So Don Juan and Carter Jasada now back out there on the jam line. Carter's trying to stay in bounds, hitting that outside. Now going up the middle. Malcolm Sex trying to open up those holes, but unable to. Good defense there by New York against Don Juan.
Don Juan recycles all the way back to the jam line. He'll reassess how he wants to attack the 3-wall in front of him by the Shock Exchange.
And those kind of hits, especially now, are so valuable for New York to be able to get him go even farther back. Those few seconds matter so much when it comes to the score.
Another nice force out, but not a very far recycle for Don Juan. But that time, he just bounces heavily off of a block by... That was Shirts on that block.
Yeah, no jammer has picked up lead yet. Don Juan just not able to stay in bounds, really trying to hit those outside cracks that he sees, but New York filling them very quickly.
And I don't want to beat the dead horse in this scenario, but once again, you've got Carnage Asada out there just not having the same type of success that he had in the first half. It's taken him a lot longer to get through on his initial pass. He's not putting points on the board. And there goes Don Juan through for lead jammer for Bridgetown.
And here's the other thing. You see this was Carnage Asada, and I think you got to attribute it to a halftime adjustment by Bridgetown. You see Carnage Asada constantly getting up to a one-man situation in front, and then Bridgetown reforms right in front of him. They're teasing him by making him think, oh, hey, I got this. Oh, wait, never mind. Now I've got 3 blockers in front of me, not just 1.
You know, folks at home, I'm not sure if you have been to the Nine Tech Sports Arena before, but what we have here is we have 2 types of court on the surface right now. We have a volleyball court that has a skate court on top of it. And what that does is makes it feel like when you're skating, it's a little bit heavier of a skate. It takes a little bit more out of you, and maybe that's having its effect on the New York Shock Exchange Jammers.
Absolutely. 5 more points picked up on that jam, but more importantly for Bridgetown, time taken off the clock. 6 minutes remaining, 156-98. It's going to be very difficult here for New York to come back. They just need power jams to go in their favor, and they need to be able to take advantage of it if they want any kind of hope of coming away with a win here. As Shreddy Mercury and I Am Havoc are the jammers. Shreddy Mercury immediately getting lead jammer within about 2 seconds after the whistle.
It's only a 57-point differential right now, and it's been that way for 10 minutes. So yeah, they're playing equally, but the first 15 minutes of this contest was all Bridgetown. And now Bridgetown is just trying to get through the contest, I believe. They're not trying to force the issue. They're not trying to run up the score. They're trying to get through the contest, stay out of penalty trouble, and move on to the next round.
Absolutely, and you can see that with how their jammers are playing. Patient, calm, slow, but effective. Shreddy Mercury, hey, listen, if you can get lead jammer immediately, you do it. But Shreddy Mercury knows what he's doing. We've seen him be patient before. He's going to do it again. Now on another scoring pass, he just knows to be able to lock that. And New York's defense has locked it down over the last few minutes too, but their offense has got to pick it up.
I Am Havoc once again has the star off of his helmet and trying to find room to get through. A little push there by Kembo. Slice to get I Am Havoc through. He explodes through 2 blockers to get it done.
Yeah, put a nasty hit on Juke Block 0 in the process. That could not have felt good. That's why I stay up here. And that's the end of that jam. Shreddy Mercury able to pick up a few more, adding to that Bridgetown lead, now 161-99. 1 point picked up there at the end of that jam. 4:22 remaining, and we do have a timeout taken by New York.
Timeout means we talk about our incredible sponsors here at the 2016 MRDA Championships in North Richland Hills, Texas. One of the sponsors for this year is another event called Beat Me Halfway. Beat Me Halfway 2016 is 7th year of holding the largest derby training event in the Midwest, with over 30 coaches running over 50 classes on and off skates. There'll be something for everyone. They provide fun, family-friendly atmosphere in downtown St. Louis, where you can take your skills to another level no matter what place you are in derby. Skaters, officials, announcers, juniors, even coaches, come and learn from some of the best. 4 tracks, 3 days non-stop derby action. Some of this year's coaches will be members of men and women's Team USA. Passes are $125 for the weekend. Passes for officials and spectators are only $50. Announcers classes, I need those, held by Val Capone and Star Spangled Hammer, our very own Star Spangled Hammer. They're free for announcers November 18th through the 20th, 2016 at America's Convention Center, downtown St. Louis, Missouri. Check out Facebook at Beat Me Halfway or the website www.beatmehalfway.com.
Yeah, I'd like to check out that announcer clinic too. It's way better than the Champ Unkind School of Talk Good and stuff.
I'm definitely not going to take the Champ Unkind School of Math.
Yes. No, that's not good. That's a failing class.
That's terrible.
It's pass-fail. Mostly fail. Carnage, Asada, and Munster are your jammers as we are now under 4 minutes remaining. As they hit turn 2, you can see Munster almost in front, and it is Carnage, Asada who will get through first to pick up lead for New York. You know, very important here at this point of the game. Maybe New York can get some momentum to carry into their next game, you know, to come out with a better ranking than they feel that they could be. You know, they still got to have the confidence to get this done. Listen, you're the number 5 team, you're playing the number 4 team. You're the underdog. You're holding your own. You lose one of your best skaters very early on. They have played very hard and very tough.
Remember the last time these two teams met, Bridgetown takes the win over the Shock Exchange, 152 to 107.
Yes.
We're looking at 162 to 100. Those scores sound kind of familiar, champ.
Very close.
That means that Bridgetown has a recipe for the New York Shock Exchange.
And that recipe so far has been defense and clean play by their jammers in the second half and causing those New York jammers to pick up those penalties. That's been what the scoreboard has done. That's how the scoreboard has been flipped. Freak Style unable to stay in bounds. Great hit by Kembo Slice. As one Bridgetown Menace player heads to the right L penalty box. Another one now heads to the right L penalty box. And Stankus heads to the right L penalty box. So it's another Bridgetown power jam.
Bridgetown looking to take advantage and increase the lead, the 62-point lead over the New York Shock Exchange. Freestyle hasn't really put the pedal to the metal trying to get these points, but he's definitely doing some work. Lateral back and forth at the jam line, looking for a nice crevice to squeak through. Bouncing off of I Don't Care Bear from the inside. There's that lead jam locked up now for Freestyle.
You know, you got to give it to New York now with under 2 minutes remaining. They know this is probably going to be the outcome of the bout, but they're still playing that tough defense against Freestyle. Not easy. Very athletic jammer out there. Even on this power jam, you know, they really were able to take a lot of that time off the clock on the power jam. Freestyle unable to stay in bounds. I Don't Care Bear with a big hit to kind of finish him off and push him back out. He was coming in, and I Don't Care Bear was like, no, you stay out there.
Inside of a minute 30 to go, 22 seconds left on the jam clock. You can see that on the outstanding overlay provided by our crack team of awesome broadcasters over here at the 2016 MRDA Championships. We're glad you're joining us out there in YouTube land.
Yes, this time is winding down, jam clock winding down, so it looks like we will have at least one more jam here in this bout. No points picked up by Stankus, but 4 more points for Bridgetown. Time winding down. You got to give it to New York Shock Exchange, playing so hard, hitting that century mark. You know, we've talked about it before, but when you lose one of your top players, one of your leaders very early on, it's tough to recover in any sport, in any game, at any time, especially your first bout in the MRDA Championships. For the most part, New York has played composed at times. There was really that beginning of the second half where they came out really struggling, but Portland's defense, Bridgetown's defense in the second half, holding New York to only 23 points.
Well, I'll tell you, that was really what has driven this game, is Shreddy Mercury and Freestyle really turned up the gas in this second period. 70 points on the board for Shreddy Mercury, 50 points on the board for Freestyle. They were able to solve that defense that was so strong by New York in the first half.
Yeah, 100 to 23 in the second half for Bridgetown. 77 to 67 New York in the first half. 100 to 23 for Bridgetown in the second half. That's why the score is the way it is. And once again, we talked about in the first half working against Bridgetown. In the second half, those power jams work against New York.
In what could be the last jam of the contest, who better to be on the jam line? The number 85, Shreddy Mercury, going heads up.
Yeah, great moves there.
Against I Am Havoc from the New York Stock Exchange.
Shreddy Mercury probably has been the most patient jammer in this bout of both teams, knowing his situation, knowing what's going on. Shreddy Mercury gets lead. I think he's just going to wear the clock down. You can see him slowing down. He is in no rush at all, trusting his defense. Again, knowing the situation, just going to stop there on turn 4 because he knows it doesn't matter how many points they score, all they need is to win. And with 20 seconds left, it looks like Bridgetown is going to skate away with a win.
It's off camera over here at turn 3 and 4, but Shreddy Mercury has come to a complete stop just watching the clock tick down with the jam ref right behind him. As soon as that clock ends, I promise you, you're going to see some hips tapped, and that jam's going to be over, and this contest is going to be over.
And waiting to get the signal from his coach as they have a little bit of a celebratory call off there. Bridgetown skates away with the win. No points on that final jam. 167-100. Bridgetown moves on. That was a good one. That was very close in the first half. Unfortunately, New York just could not. They looked a little flustered. They lost that momentum there. Again, 100 points in the second half for Bridgetown, 23 points for New York. That's the difference.
We've said a lot of things about what New York was not able to do in the second half, but I want to remind everyone of what Bridgetown was able to do in the second half, which was solve the defense. It was giving them some trouble. Their jammers really showed up. I mean, Shreddy Mercury was outstanding in the second half, and they're excited to move on to the next round.
Absolutely.
It's been an outstanding job. I can't wait to see how this continues to go with Bridgetown. Can't wait to see what kind of waves they can make here in this tournament.
It could be a spoiler. They very well could be.
I want to thank everybody for watching this game. We've got more to come. I've been the entire time Captain Motorboater.
And I'm D-List Roller Derby Celebrity Champ Unkind. We'll see you guys next time.